Genesis Coupe. That was one that we were doing a total refresh on. Second car of the three is the Lamborghini Murcielago. We had gotten a Liberty Walk kit for it the SEMA before. There's a really cool story where we met Wachiro Kato. This is literally a one-of-one body kit, one-of-one Murcielago. It has to go. So we talked to Kato and he's like, hey, we need to get some air suspension on that thing and we have a spot for it. Awesome. Put the body kit on and painted the panels. So that's the second car. So we have the Genesis Coupe drift car, the Lamborghini Murcielago show car, stance car, whatever you want to call it. The third one was a Nissan 350Z, and this car was another car I got as a supposed to be daily driver. It was not a daily driver car at all, but I did daily drive it for like 3 years after this. I don't anymore because it will not pass emissions. Thank you, government. So that one was literally start to finish, top to bottom, built in this 6-month period for the SEMA show. Partnering with a bunch of different companies, getting the first Rocket Bunny kit for a 350Z in the States, and then getting that in a nice spot right out front of the convention center. The Genesis was a car that started as my daily and ended up turning it into a tuner car. It went to SEMA, then turning it into a drift car, and I didn't even know how to drift yet, but it was a drift car. But the Genesis, we ended up getting a great spot under kind of, if you guys have ever been to the SEMA show, there's everything inside, all like the buildings. Then there's a whole outside area. And in the past, that has been kind of a spot where cars that don't make booths go. What people have realized is the public is allowed to go to the outside part of SEMA. And so they actually end up putting a lot of really spectacular builds out there, and there's some really great spots. It does usually rain one day of SEMA, and that is super problematic. When we had the Genesis there, it had no windows, and the engine, rear end was all exposed. So we were like, we knew we were gonna be outside. We were like, where's our spot gonna be? One of the best spots I've ever gotten for the outside part of SEMA, it was basically right in front of one of the main halls, under like an awning, kind of up off the street on the curb. And so that was like so sick. There's so much traffic going by there, and we were actually able to like start it up and rev it for people during the show, which you're not supposed to do at all, but everybody kind of loved it. So that was pretty much the Genesis build. The Lambo. The Lambo was something that we had basically taken from a car my dad had gotten to just enjoy, and was like, you know what, I'm taking it from you, and now we're building the crazy custom car. So we ended up getting the Liberty Walk body kit, GFG wheels, AirX, air suspension, exhaust system. But this was actually the year I did a crazy, I should say we did a crazy ghosted leopard print. I think plenty of people have done something like that now, but back then I'd never seen anybody do it. So I thought it was a really cool, unique idea. And what I actually did is the whole car was painted gloss black, and we ended up layering satin and matte black leopard spots over the entire car, and then doing the logos in gloss white and gloss red. And so this created a really crazy effect where from afar, it pretty much just looked like a black car. And as you got closer and the way you looked at it in different angles, it showed the leopard print kind of more or less, and sometimes it would even disappear. Kind of fun fact, you actually can't do that with printed vinyl. You'd still have to hand layer it to get that same effect. So that was kind of cool. I was super stoked on that. I definitely think the final version, the version how it looks today, is definitely cleaner. When you're building a car for SEMA, you're kind of working back and forth with your partners and sponsors and anybody who's helping you build it, whoever's providing the spot or the booth for it. They're going to be providing input on the build, kind of saying yes and no in some ways on stuff. And depending on how you listen, sometimes you'll have a little better experience. But for me, I'm not one who really listens. Just sticking to my guns and doing whatever the hell I want to do. And so with both vehicles, actually, with the Lambo and the Z, I told some of the partners what I was doing with the builds, mainly like the colorways. They both had disapproval. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm doing it. I know you guys are going to like it. Wait until you see it at the show, but I'll tell you how it worked out. So with the Lambo, I told Kato and Tosh also works at Liberty Walk, Kato's right-hand man, told him, hey, I'm doing this crazy blacked out leopard print. It's gonna be nuts. Kato's not gonna like that. That's not gonna look good. Why don't you do like just gloss black or this other, or a crazy bright color with colored wheels, like, because that's what a lot of his cars at the time look like, which was a great look. Every other Liberty Walk car looked the same way. Everyone that bought Liberty Walk kits and put them in SEMA built them just like Kato's cars. And I was like, you know, I love these guys, but I don't want to do that. I want to be my own guy. I want to build up my own style. So I was like, I'm doing the leopard print. Sorry. He actually told me at the show, which I'll never forget, when he saw it, rewind a little bit, we ended up getting it in the AirX booth. Kato helped us with that, got us the suspension and got it at a great spot in the booth. And when we got to the show, Kato came over and obviously wanted to check it out and look at it, as he does with pretty much all Liberty Walk kit cars that are at the show. He actually ended up telling me, not himself, but right in front of me through a translator. I don't speak Japanese and he doesn't speak English. So he told me that it was actually his favorite Murcielago. Totally blew my mind because he himself, I believe, has like 4 or 5 of them himself. I know he's bought a couple and sold some off, but of the 20 or 21 rather Liberty Walk Murcielagos, he owned like a quarter of them. And that was his first wide body kit and kind of the car that sprung this whole crazy bolted on wide body fender craze that's still going on today. Between that car and then Kei Mira's FRS, those were the 2 cars that kind of spawned this whole thing. So this is a really special build to him, and for him to actually say that this was his favorite Murcielago totally blew my mind. They ended up liking it, so it worked out. So the last of the 3 cars was the Nissan 350Z, the one that has become totally infamous and we absolutely love. I don't know what happened, but I was playing with colors. I would do, you know, a different color body and different color wheels. I basically had a rendering where I would just like mess with the little hue slider on the body and then mess with it on the wheels and just kind of see what I could come up with. Looking at it over and over again, and I was like, I can't think of a unique 2-color combo. I feel like I've seen either renderings people have done or cars already built that are like that. And I ended up doing yellow with red wheels. And then I was like, what if I added blue? And then I had actually a 3-color combo and it was the primary colors. Hopefully everybody at Haugen Racing loves that color combo. I don't know if they do, but they get to stare at it all the time. So, but with the Z, kind of rewinding, with that build, we literally did everything top to bottom. We did custom paint. We did kind of a stealth stereo system, so it has a subwoofer behind the driver's seat, air suspension. We did all custom control arms. We did a Willwood big brake kit on it, rotiform 3-piece wheels, the Rocket Bunny kit, obviously, the Sabon carbon hood. The craziest part about this whole experience was not one car in particular, but it was doing all 3 at the same time and like mentally planning out all 3 and adjusting timelines as we went along. Like, I don't really ever want to do it again, honestly. Like, it literally almost sent me to the hospital. I remember I was getting like, which now happens all the time because my life's like so ridiculous now, but back then it was a big deal. I was getting like heart palpitations and like breathing fast and all shit. And I was like, I think I need to go to the hospital. And like, I don't know. I was just super stressed out, super tired. I had 3 cars going and I had multiple sponsors on each car, 3 spots, people wanting those cars to be there. And it wasn't like, just because I had 3 going there didn't mean any was less important than the other. Trying to make your local car show or whatever big car show's happening in the spring, and it's like you want there so badly. Now like multiply that by 3 and it doesn't matter. So we did the rotiform wheels, the Willwood brake kit, and then one of the biggest things we did on that car was actually the 1JZ swap. 1JZ in there from a Soar with a old school like big turbo kit, and ended up making 500 wheel on E85. But those are pretty much the 3 builds. The crazy thing about it was no one of the builds was more important than the other. I don't think I would do this again. I don't know, think about it right on the spot. I probably would, because it was pretty crazy, and now I have a lot more help, and I know that we could do it a lot more planned. But we pulled it off, still standing here today, still alive. We made it happen. It was a crazy experience. I don't recommend it at all, definitely not. We'll see you in a couple days. Peace out.